breaking fucking records radio.
Yeah, you worked with him on a track on what, Hour of Reprisal or something like that.
HR, yeah. I actually worked with him on the Grammy Awards also.
Right.
Yeah, I worked with him on a couple of tracks over the years.
Well, now with that segue, you've also worked with Howard Jones from Killswitch, Bad Brains, Max from Soulfly.
Yep.
Is there any plans of you doing a full-fledged metal? We know that you're a big influence with metal, with the radio show, with the Slayer references and autobiography. And
I mean, anything's possible. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I play bass. I mean, I wouldn't mind playing in a band if it's the right situation.
Mm-hmm. Like the Q Unique, what he's doing now with what's that, Rockwell or
Q's got Stillwell
with Fieldy from
Korn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's also got another project called King's Bounty that I was helping him out with a little bit early on. That's going to be coming out soon. But yeah, it's always possible. I might start my own thing. I mean, it's for me. I love, metal and punk as much as I love hip hop. It's just, I was in bands for years before I even really started taking hip hop really serious. But those were my teenage years, and then it's just like the hip hop shit just took off. I look back, it was like 20 years later. I'm like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah. Do you find the underground scenes are similar in New York between like metal and punk and hip hop?
There's similarities. I mean, it's a little different, but there's similarities. I mean, there was definitely, I think, more similarities a little more back in the day in the '90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely a big way you could comparison. You could find comparison between, like, especially the New York hardcore scene,
mm-hmm.
And the underground hip hop scene, and that's crossed over a lot over the years. But I mean, even back then, like in '88 when Sick of It All, '89 whenever they put out their first record, they had KRS-One do the intro to their album.
What?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a song called Clobbering Time.
I was only 2, so I haven't peeped it yet.
But yeah, if you check out that first Sick of It All album, KRS-One is like the first voice you hear when you put the record
That's
on.
crazy.
That is crazy.
He's kind of giving a shout out. So I think it's always there's always been kind of a connection between both scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they are both the voice of the oppressed too, right?
Yeah, I think and people might not understand, but the New York hardcore stuff, people think punk rock is like some white suburban thing, but New York hardcore is not that at all.
No,
I mean, it's like kids from the projects, just like kids from the hood. We're doing hip hop. There's kids from the hood doing punk rock too. It's something I think might just be unique about New York. New York is a real strange place. It's an interesting place and different from anywhere else. Different from like 90% of Canada and the rest of America. It's just its own weird kind of place, and that's probably why hip hop and so many interesting bands have come out of New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
those blends of everything.
Yeah, there's the combination and melting pot.
I was just gonna use that term
that New York is culturally. Yeah. Musically, it created a bunch of different scenes that are very interesting and groundbreaking and legendary even to this day. From back when CBGBs had Blondie and Talking Heads and the Ramones, all those type of bands. And at the same time, you had all the hip hop stuff starting to jump off. It's just similar. And within a couple of years, by like '82, you had Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols doing records and albums with Bambaataa,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, so.
Dope. And let them know where they can find your podcast now.
Oh, you can find that, just search for Merciless on Mixcloud.com.
And actually, with your love for metal and hard rock too, I was also wondering, have you ever actually toured with like a metal band and had them like play your instrumentals or anything like that?
Nah.
No?
Nah, I've never done anything like that.
Really?
Nope.
Ever is that any thoughts for any future plans or not really?
I I've never really been a big fan of that.
No.
You know, I mean, I think just because I don't think the bands that people, I mean, it just has, you have to find the right band.
Yeah.
So for us, I just, I mean, like if the Roots asked me to come and do a set with them, I would love to. Someone on the level of the Roots would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we just haven't worked with anybody of that nature. I mean, we did some stuff with Steph from the Deftones and the Fear Factory guys on the first on the nonfiction record, Futures Now, the CIA remix.
Mm-hmm.
But we never actually performed it live with them.
That'd be something.
That'd be something cool.
Deftones.
That would be crazy.